the Argentina-Canada opening game of the Copa America tomorrow. Fascinating opening game. It kicks off at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. You know, there's going to be a full stadium capacity, expected full stadium capacity, which is going to make it a brilliant atmosphere. For y'all know, Mercedes-Benz Stadium holds 71,000 people. And, you know, that's a lot for a soccer game in America. So, yeah, you know, it's going to be an amazing, fascinating game. Interesting to see how Argentina lines up, especially in that midfield. You know, the fact that Enzo and his down season and his injury, he's not going to probably be available. So I think DePaul and McAllister, they're locks. But that third midfield option, it's probably going to be Paredes. Paredes, who's had a good season at Roma. I think he's going to be the one that complements Rodrigo DePaul and Alexis McAllister. So, yeah, for me, that's a good midfield in my opinion. That's a midfield that's going to cause that Canadian national team problems. Now, Argentina are looking to, you know, carry the form that they've had over the past few years. When you look at the fact that they're the defending World Cup champions, they went on a crazy unbeaten run to get to the World Cup. They ended up snapping that unbeaten run in the World Cup, actually, in the opening game to Saudi Arabia. And then they went on to win the tournament and continue another dominant run. Now, they haven't really went on a long unbeaten run again because they lost actually to Uruguay in World Cup qualifiers not a few long ago. So it proved that they're human, I guess. But they did lose to Uruguay 2-0. It was actually at home. But this is an Argentina team that's strong all around. This Argentina team that I think is as good as that World Cup team. And I think they have a little bit of a different element to them now. You know, I think Julian Alvarez, you still have his directness, his verticality. I see him starting again. But you have a Lautaro Martinez, in my opinion, that had a horrible World Cup last campaign. But I don't see him replicating that World Cup. He's had a brilliant season at Inter Milan, an absolute brilliant season. You know, led them to the Serie A title. Absolutely phenomenal season by him. I think if he can return to his form for the Argentina national team, scoring 24 goals in 33 matches in Serie A, brilliant player, and a player that should not be slumped on at this World Cup, at this Copa America. But you also have the added element of an Alejandro Garnacho that gives you verticality, directness as well, that can play off Messi. And I think he's kind of like the perfect player when if you are late in the game and you are chasing the results, to bring on a guy like him going up against a tired back line. I think he could be very, very deadly. So this Argentina national team has a lot of different ways to go at it. They're also coached by Lionel Scaloni, a brilliant head coach, a more pragmatic head coach in the fact that they sit tight and that they're not afraid to allow the other team to have the ball and to control the game in certain areas. They won't be afraid to be a little pragmatic in certain times. They're not gonna go out from minute one and put crazy men forward, but rather, you know, defend first and then work their way in transition and play with the ball. And they've been brilliant in how they've done it, and they've been professional in how Argentina has done it. They don't always play the best of football, but they're professional. They get the result, and they won a World Cup doing that. And they also, in the World Cup, they're also able to turn it on in certain moments and play very, very good football. Like the first 70 minutes against France, that was brilliant football played from Argentina. But at certain times that they've been dull, you know, like that Mexico game, they were very, very dull. And it didn't look like there was going to be a goal coming from Argentina in that Mexico game. But a moment of magic from Messi came and they were able. But in general, there's certain times that they don't look like they're scoring, but Messi comes up with an individual moment of magic that opens up. So there's just that perfect balance with this Argentina team. And I don't think they're any worse from that World Cup winning team. So they're definitely, you know, the big favorites in this game with Canada. Now, Canada is an interesting team in the fact that they're coming in Well, they're coming in on a good result, finishing nil-nil against France in France. That's a very good result coming out of France with the result avoiding a loss and not keeping a clean sheet against that talented group with the French national team, who's playing a full lineup, by the way, not some makeshift B team. This is a full-fledged French national team. So, in my opinion, brilliant. That's a brilliant result for them. Now, they did come off before that. They did get dumped by the Netherlands 4-0. In a game that they also had their opportunities. It kind of went back and forth, but Netherlands were more clinical with the more quality that they have. But this is a Canada team that it has quality with the Jonathan David and Alphonso Davies. They have pace. They can threaten this Argentina team in behind. I think they could. The way that Jesse Marsch plays, the Gegen style of pressing, high intensity, heavy metal football. I think that matches well with Argentina, playing against Argentina. When you look at what Saudi Arabia was able to do to Argentina in that opening game of the World Cup, I think Canada can pull off something of that similar. They're gonna have to play a high. They're gonna play a high line, Canada, because that's what Jesse Marsch likes to do. But they're gonna have to be intense in their pressing, and be very aggressive in winning second balls and winning the ball in midfield, and really pressing and not being afraid to, be like, to press these Argentina players and to really get in their faces. And if they're willing to go toe to toe, they could really rattle this Argentina team, because that Argentina team was rattled against Saudi Arabia. And I think this Canada team has more quality than that Saudi Arabian team that was able to rattle that Argentina team and get that result. I think this Canada team is more talented. So I really think this Canada team has more than just a shot to pull off this upset. I really do, because of the fact that I like the way how their style of play matches up well against Argentina, and the fact that they have quality and pace that can really threaten this Argentina backline and behind. When you look at the likes of Otamendi, Romero, this is a center-back partnership, in my opinion. It could be had. They're not the best center-back partnership. They defend well in general as a team, but individually, that center-back partnership, I think Romero, he's solid, and then Otamendi, he's decent, but he's old, and he can be had. So obviously Argentina are the favorites here, no doubt about it. But Canada definitely have a chance. And Jesse Marsch, whenever he was talking about the game in his post-game presser, he was talking about how he wants his team to be fearless, which I think is very, very important, which goes a lot to what I was saying about them not being scared to play them head on and press them high up the field, to not fear. That's going to be very, very important, because if they do play with the fear, if they do hesitate to press them, and they give them time and space in midfield, and they still play the high line that Jesse Marsch likes playing, and they give the likes of Rodrigo De Paul, McAllister, and Paredes time to pick out passes in behind with that high line, going up against potentially an Alvarez or Martinez with the pace that they have, or even a Garnacho. Man, that could be very, very concerning. So if they are gonna play that high line that Jesse Marsch is famous for playing, then the fearless approach is very necessary. I'm gonna go with a 2-0 win for Argentina. I think this is a little bit too far of a step for Canada to get, to take. But I do think Canada will be competitive in this game. I think they'll give Argentina a run for their money. And I do think Canada is still the second best team in this group, despite all the issues that they've had with the federation over the past few years. I still think they're a better team overall than Peru and Chile. So I expect them to get out of the group. I just don't think they'll get a result in the opening game. But again, I will not be surprised if they do end up getting the results because of the way that they play. And I think that matches up well against the Argentina national team. We saw Saudi Arabia have success with that similar formula style of play with less talented players, in my opinion.